want to banish, right? We don't have Can I just kill him by stealing Utopia? How much attack has these guys got? 1600 plus 2500? That's already lethal, isn't it? I can just econ this and beat him to death. What a strat. Right, advanced gameplay right now. Give me that monster. Fuck. Average Duel Links player doesn't read cards. Yeah, you're right. So it is day one of the latest box Fantastic Arc, and oh boy have we been given some potential. So I have quite a few ideas backed up for things I want to make and videos to create over the next few days, but first and foremost, let's get the easiest build out of the way first. Burning Abyss, as this archetype is quite literally allergic to every other archetype in the game, to a point where they just implode upon seeing them. So it's not exactly difficult to build this list, since it's basically just going to consist of all the best BA cards and a bit of back row. Now, after playing this archetype for quite a few hours now, I have to say it's definitely lived up to my expectations. I played it for a few hours in King of Games, trying plenty of different variants, all with different win rates, all being pretty decent. Then the season reset, and I played it for a few more hours in Platinum, with a ridiculous win rate of like 65 to 70% plus. And keep in mind, that was with 3 to 4 different lists, trialing out random back row and ratios to see what worked and what didn't. Honestly, I haven't really got much to complain about with this archetype at all, as it just seems pretty good. I'm not sure how well it'll do competitively, but as far as ladder is concerned, this deck is just a breeze. It will easily get you to King of Games, and I really wouldn't be surprised if the archetype did end up in the top tiers of the game. It's just a really good deck. So here's the deck list. Now before I get into the deck list, just a reminder that if you are enjoying any of the content you are watching or find any of it useful, to please show your support in the video and for the creator by dropping a like on the video down below and subscribing to the channel whilst you're down there. I make a ton of content every week covering various lists, guides, updates, memes, a lot of memes, and I occasionally run live stream tournaments that anyone can join. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out. Alright. So we have quite a few new cards here, so I'll try to go over them pretty quickly. So all your BA monsters have two effects, one shared effect and one unique effect, but you can only use one of the effects on the card each turn. The shared effect amongst all your BA monsters, if you control no spell and trap cards, you may special summon them from your hand. Then we have a bunch of unique effects, all of which activate when your BA monsters are put in the graveyard. Scarms during the end phase can add any level 3 Dark Fiend monster from deck to hand. Sir can resurrect any BA monster except itself. Farfa can banish any monster on the field until the end phase. And finally, Alich can negate one monster on the field until the end of the turn. Then we have our new Xyz monster, Dante. Once per turn you can attach one Xyz material from this card, choose 1 to 3 cards sent from the top of your deck to the graveyard, and this card gains 500 attack for each card until the end of the turn. If this card attacks, it is changed to defense position at the end of the battle phase. If this card is sent to the graveyard, add one BA card from grave to hand except itself. As for the rest of the deck, it's probably all cards you're pretty familiar with, so I'll talk about them as I go through them during the commentary gameplay portion of the video. One last thing before I move on though, my list was running Xyz Block, as it does have some pretty neat synergy with the materials you're detaching, but honestly, it's basically just a substitute for Breakthrough Skill, so if you had that card, I'm pretty sure it's probably the best card for this slot in the deck, so you should definitely run it instead. Alright guys, I'm going to jump straight into the gameplay commentary portion of the video now. Remember, if you are enjoying the video or finding any of the content useful, to please drop a like on the video down below and consider subscribing to the channel whilst you're down there. Enjoy the gameplay. Alright, let's get into it. So as you can see, this deck's win rate was pretty good, 7 wins and 3 losses, which isn't that bad. I played a lot more variants of BA before this, so the overall win rate was very decent. I climbed very quickly from wherever you start in the season reset from Plat, I think it's Plat 5, whatever, wherever you start after the season reset from COG, all the way up to Legend 1 with very little hassle. So I suspect this deck is pretty good. I'm not sure how it will go competitively, as it seems to be like, its main weakness seems to be that it has a pretty low attack stat, being like Dante only gets 2500 and that's basically like it, so it relies very heavily on removal from things like your Farfas and your Ballista Squads to try to remove your opponent's monsters, because you can't really beat over a whole lot. So that seems to be this deck's main weakness. Whether or not that's too much for competitive play, I don't know. But as for ladder play, this deck will breeze through it. If you want to get King of Games and you're worried that Burning Abyss wouldn't be able to do it, don't worry, this deck is definitely compatible with, not compatible, definitely competitive enough to climb through the ranked ladder anyway. Alright, let's get into the replays. Yeah, definitely lived up to my expectations anyway. It's basically where I thought it would be. I didn't think it would be something so broken like some tier 0 bullshit or anything like that. And I didn't think it would be so bad that nobody would play it or something. It's basically what I thought it would be. Just a decent deck. Alright. So first player was a Harpy player. So we went first, and first thing we did was we normal summoned our Seer and special summoned our Farfa. Now we normal summon this guy instead of special summoning him because keep in mind you can only use one of your BA effects per turn on each of your monsters. So if you use the special summon effect, you can't use the second effect, and I want to use the second effect to bring someone back in a second, as you'll see. So we summon out Dante. Use Dante's effect to mill 3 by detaching our Seer. Seer's effect then goes off so we can special summon back a Farfa instead of Recon. Our opponent summons a monster, tries to deal with us. We enemy controller, yoink his monster so we can't do any synchro summoning or any Xyz plays for the rest of the turn. Burning Abyss can be sending the Farfa, using a Farfa's effect, banishing the Harpy. And now because we're using, I don't think I mentioned this in the Decklist portion of the video, actually I probably should have, but we're using the skill Might of the PLANA. This skill, whenever you've got any banished monster your opponent has, you can, once per duel, just remove them from existence. Literally just send them straight to the Shadow Realm, banish them to another dimension. So yeah, basically it turns Farfa's banish effect, which is normally only till the end phase, into a permanent effect, where it's just removed it from, literally from existence. They cannot get that card back, it is gone. Actually the strongest form removal in the game. Then we summon our Crane. Crane can then bring out a Seer. And our opponent was conceding because he was dead from there. Yeah, I should probably explain the Crane interaction too. So normally your Burning Abyss monsters, when you have a monster on board that's not a Burning Abyss, they will destroy themselves. But thankfully for Crane, Crane actually negates the monster it summons, so they don't blow themselves up and you can just exceed someone with them. Also, if you, at the very start of the game, you special summon like a Seer for example, and then you normal summon your Crane, this guy will blow up and go to the graveyard before the Crane effect goes off, so then you can just resurrect after you've done that. I think you'll see that later on in this video. I think I have an example replay of that. But just keep in mind, Crane doesn't brick on turn 1. You can normal summon or special summon your Burning Abyss monsters, normal summon your Crane, and this guy will destroy himself before your Crane effect goes off, so you can use the Crane to target it. Hopefully there's an example replay in here. I'm not sure if I got one or not. I certainly did it a few times today, but I don't know if I recorded it for the video. Alright, so we had another Harpy player. Although I think this Harpy player had a bit of a rough starting hand. I'm pretty sure he had no back row. Just had a Harpy on board, poor guy. Then again, it's probably deserved from using the Harpy's Hunting Ground skill when it's about to get limited, you know? It's about to get banned. Absolutely filthy. Alright, so we normal summoning Farfa, special summoning again, just because you want to use Farfa's effect this turn. Summoning our Dante. Dante detach, mill 3, banish the Harpy. And we actually managed to mill a Seer as well, so we get a special summon effect. Go into our number 48 Shadow Lich. So Shadow Lich is in this deck because basically there is no other unrestricted quick play removals in the or quick play rank 3s in the game. So this card, what it does is it allows you during your opponent's turn to detach one material to then special summon a token. We don't care about that effect at all. If anything, the actual token is more of a downside to us because our BAs will blow themselves up when they see it. But the whole point is, because this guy gets to do it during your opponent's turn, if you equip him with something like a Farfa, if your opponent summons a monster, during your opponent's turn you can detach the material, banish the monster, so you can use it for a bit of disruption. It's unfortunately the only rank 3 we've got that can kind of do that, the more, like, unconditioned. There's a couple of like quick effects, battle phase ones we have in the game, but no just unrestricted, use it whenever you like, kind of quick effects. That's why I summoned this monster. So if my opponent even managed to survive this turn somehow, we would have been able to have a quick effect pop during his turn anyway. And we also had an econ set as well. But this deck is actually just, I think this deck will get really good, even if we just get a few more rank 3 monsters. We don't necessarily need more BA support. I know there's one good BA monster that everyone talks about, or I don't know. But if we just get a few more just rank 3s, especially quick effects, I feel like this deck could be really good. Alright, this guy was playing Super Heavy Samurai. This is a good example to show off why I was using Xyz Block as kind of a replacement. Xyz Block is kind of, I don't really like this card too much, but I was really wanted to try it on this deck specifically because normally detaching materials from Xyz monsters is kind of like meh. Like, why don't you just use a quick play, what the quick play negate spell is in the game, or a Fiendish Chain or something, you know? But in this case, detaching materials in this deck is really good because you detach things like Farfa. So instead of summoning that witch, like I said earlier, where you need it just to detach materials during your opponent's turn, you could just have a Dante on board, which is a much better monster, and still be able to do that detaching effects that you kind of need. So I really want to give it a shot in this deck. Alright, so special summoning, normal summoning. Summoning Dante, we'll be banishing our opponent's monster. Once again, activating our Mind of the PLANA. I'm so glad, by the way, Mind of the PLANA has like a space now. Because like, Mind of the PLANA has been one of my favourite skills for a while, but there's never been like a really good time to use it. There was never any like super banish heavy decks that like it counted enough to warrant using it either, which was such a shame. I'm so glad it actually has like a deck that it's probably going to be the best skill for, I think. Even if it's not the best skill for the deck, I'm always going to use it in this deck. It's so fucking fun. Just removing your opponent's monsters completely is just insane. Alright, so our opponent tried to use Musashi's effect. We're going to negate him here, using our Xyz Block, by attaching a material from Dante, which now puts our Scum in the graveyard, so when it goes to the end phase, I can add another card to hand. Yeah, from here, we're just going to summon another Xyz monster, make sure we have enough attack to get over 1500. And our opponent was dead. Alright, next game. I do recommend though, if you do have, what was the trap card? Skill, whatever it's called. The other negating trap card that I talked about in the decklist portion of the video. Do use that skill. Oh, breakthrough skill, that's it. Use that card over Xyz Block. I think it's just way better. And the fact that you can mill it and it's still useful in a deck that mills really often, it's just too useful. It's a shame you can't run Paleos in this deck, because Paleos would have the same kind of effect, but then your monsters like to blow themselves up when there's a monster on board that isn't a, you know, Burning Abyss, so it's not great. Alright, setting up a pretty good turn having a Farfa on board with an econ, so we can tribute our monster, take control of something, and banish something. So 2 lots of disruption. Our opponent pops our Dante, giving us a Farfa back to hand. Thankfully our opponent didn't have too good of a play, so there wasn't a whole lot for him to do this turn at least. To be fair, even if he did have something to do that turn, we didn't actually use any of our disruption, so we still could have disrupted stuff, he just didn't do anything, so we're like, alright, well, we'll just keep our disruption for later. And we'll set up our number 48 Shadow Lich. So now we can use our Farfa Disruption without actually having to use our Econ if we want to. And we also have the Xyz Block if we want that as well. Alright, we're going to be summoning out our 2 Abyss Actors. We're going to now activate our effect preemptively because we know that we can't respond to the spell card. So if he has it, which we know he does, yeah, we're going to have to remove it real quick. Once again, adds this to hand. And then for some reason decides to use the Abyss script on a fucking token? I don't know, maybe this guy was just like massive 5-head and he was like, oh, maybe this man has enemy controller or something. But I don't know, like, why on earth you would use your removal on a level like 1 token. If anything, like I said, this token is annoying for me because I can't summon Burning Abysses when it's on board. So I don't know what this was about, but anyway. Nuke's my token. Top deck's the Crane. Summoned our monster. Because its effect's negated, it won't destroy itself, so we can Xyz summon into another Dante. Send 3, use our Farfa to banish something, and our Burning Abyss special summon something else. Enemy controller taking our opponent's monster, mining the PLANA, getting rid of his monster, and there's 2 lots of lethal on board. Alright, final gameplay. I just realized I'm not using a card, mat, or sleeve for this deck. I should probably fix that. Get cultured like our opponent over here. Anyway. Alright, normal summoning, special summoning, going into our Ghostrick Alucard. So we can... Oh, so I think we did a double special summon there actually. Because we had Crane normal summon, I think. So we use the Alucard to try to target one of the back row. It was Yusenju, so returns my thing to hand. But thankfully, because we did double special summon, we can now normal summon Crane. Bring back a monster, negate its effect. Special summon out Dante. Set 2 and pass. Making sure we only milled 1 there with Dante, because normally you want to mill as many as possible, but we don't want to activate Destiny Draw, because Konami still hasn't nerfed that skill for God knows what reason. That skill still... Oh god, I'm going forever about how much I hate Destiny Draw, but anyway. Making sure not to proc it by doing only 1500 damage. Our opponent, of course, has answers to both lots of our back row. Not only that, but he managed to draw into a trap card too, or some kind of back row. Very scary. Thankfully, our Scarm gives us a search, so we can add our Seer to hand. And we drew a Crane anyway, so even if we didn't, even if we didn't draw a monster, if we didn't draw another Burning Abyss, we can just make one anyway. But yeah, so I normal summon. Before anyone says anything, I normal summon this thing or special summon this thing first on purpose. I know it'll get blown up by the Crane, but I summoned it on purpose to try to bait our back row if he had some kind of Yusenju thing and he used it. Maybe you get baited by it, but it turns out this back row wasn't even usable anyway, whatever it was. So, didn't matter. Yeah, I promise you that wasn't a misplay. I was trying to bait our back row there. Anyway. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed. That'll be the replays for today. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And I hope to see you in the next one. Laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob?
Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis.
Oh.